in some sort of path or participation.
For me, I came up with this. I will influence those around me, be kind and compassionate to get people to have diverse mindsets and a great sense of independence.
The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. What I'm basically saying, today they have given you the best 3 days, but you probably look like you're on the top. Keep climbing, because when you're on top of one mountain, you see the bottom of it. It's very easy to fall back. In other words, it's very easy for us to forget about these 7 habits of highly effective people we've learned and go back to our old ways of doing things. Not so? I summarize this for you by saying something very important. When people were speaking here, never forget to be confident when you have a chance to speak. No one will ever tell people anything better than you can tell people about yourself.
with next session, you people have saved me from paying my graphics manager. My name is Shaba X. Joy. You are given an assignment to record an audio about what is transpiring. That is the youth stealing with multimedia and ICT.
Hello viewers, welcome to yet another episode of You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. You and the Law, as you know from previous editions, is about demystifying the law and making it simple for every person in this country. We discuss legal matters from all angles. Is it land, property, domestic violence, gender-based violence, everything, criminal law, commercial law, everything that is based on the law. We discuss it here. In this particular edition, we're discussing the effects of COVID-19 on human rights. Over the last few weeks, we've been handling different types of human rights. And today, we focus on yet another very important right. That's the rights of children. How has COVID-19 affected children's rights? How are children coping up with the challenges posed by COVID-19? And what does this mean for the obligation to protect rights of children? With me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo, a lead counsel for the GBV program at Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, popularly known as UCLF. Sarah, you're welcome to You and the Law.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I'm fine.
How is work, COVID-19, family? Because I know it's been a bit of a crazy, period the last 2 years or so.
Yes, we're fine. Work has changed a bit. Sometimes you're working from home, sometimes you're at the field, but still with the legal fraternity, it's hard to work from home. It's hard. You have to be in the field. Yes.
You have to appear in court.
You have to appear in court. It's only like when it comes to the rulings that you can have it on Zoom.
Okay, in terms of your work as UCLF, I know that you're one of the leading legal aid organizations, but perhaps you could, for the viewer who could be hearing about UCLF for the first time, could you just tell us a little bit about the organization?
Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, UCLF, is a membership organization. We have over 250 members, and in all different spheres, of life. And we mainly have them in the judiciary. We have also students. We have institutions who all subscribe to be into our membership. And then we have them annual membership fee differently that they pay. So, yeah.
You said it's membership, so it's you put together different lawyers.
Yes, we have different
and
lawyers.
You must be Christian or
no, not necessarily Christian, but you see, we see ourselves, yes, Muslim, most of them are Christian, but we reach out to people, different people, just to see that people who have the heart of seeing justice being done in the community, in the world. We want to see a free world without any crime, hopefully.
Okay. So your services reach out to every person, so long as they're...
Yes, we now reach out to everyone.
Okay. I mean, that's a good starter. And perhaps we could go for a break at this point after understanding about UCLF, and then we'll sort of pick back from there and carry on a conversation around the effects of COVID-19 on children's lives. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
The CEO bench is about leadership, self-leadership, change management, and transformation. What is your view of transformation, and how do you see your dream in the next 15, 20 years in Uganda?
You know, we were having a chat earlier, Eddie, where you were telling me about all sorts of statistics that say that Uganda is the most entrepreneurial country in the world and also the most culturally diverse country in the world. Those incredible gifts of this country you can see every day you walk outside. My small contribution to that will be making sure that every single rich, culturally enhanced person and naturally entrepreneurial person has the education foundation that they need to thrive and pursue whatever purpose they have. The world that we live in, the country that we live in, and the world that we live in, when all of that is true, is going to be a completely different place for all of us. And I just can't wait to see the fruits.
Imagine yourself, imagine your future self. Imagine the road you want to take. Imagine the house you want to build. And when I say house you want to build, is who you want to build yourself to be. Just imagine. You can even touch your heart, because that's where everything starts. Imagine. What is it that you want to change? Is it about how you are interacting with? Is it about mental health, by the way? Just take 1 minute, just 1 minute. Just imagine. Your thoughts are just so many, going. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not, so many ways you talk to yourself. And you become your worst enemy. In the beginning, it might be hard because you are used to just coming off your bed and you say, you know what, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. You speak things to yourself, but you have the power, by the way. Just imagine. There's greatness in you. Imagine. Do you feel you don't matter? Maybe you're the last child in your family and you feel you don't matter. You don't have a voice. But you do. You are someone of potential, someone of worth. And how do we see the world? Because it's all about you. I know teenage years are not the easiest one. I was also a teenager. So equipping you to see things a bit differently. That you are in charge. You are in charge. You're no longer a child. You are in charge. You are responsible. You can carry your own weather. You can impact the lives of others positively. You can be a happy person, by the way. Many people think as a teen, I have to be so grumpy. But you can choose to smile. You can choose to get up of your bed and say, you know what, I'm going to be happy today. You are taking the 7 habits of highly effective teens. I hope you all know that this is the course that you are taking. It's a 3-day course. We will make it as interactive as we can, but we need you. We need you because it's a dialogue. It's a time to share. It's a time to grow. I as a mother, I as a parent, I as a sister, I also have areas that I want to grow. So I need you. The reason why we do this wisdom circle is that every one of you has wisdom. So one is being proactive, taking initiative, being in charge, and saying, I'm in charge. I'm responsible for my life and where it's leading me to. Number two, I want to start with the end in mind. So where do I see my future self? And then you walk the path for it. You do those things that will matter to that vision coming to pass. So it's habit 3. We see habit 4. When you master the first 3 habits, the first 3 habits are personal habits. It is me. Then from me, I move to us. So think win-win is a mindset of abundance, of mutual benefit. Every time I'm interacting with people, I interact with people with an abundance of heart. Then we have habit 5, which is seek first to understand, then to be understood, which is the habit of communication. How do we communicate with each other? So those 2 habits are we. And then the 6th habit, which is the habit of creative cooperation or collaboration, that habit is now, it is we. How do we come together? How can 1 + 1 become 100? So through creativity, through abundance of heart, remember you have to come with an abundance of heart. How do I, when I come with you, I come to work with you, I synergize, I do something even better than what I thought I could do on my own. And then 7 is the habit of renewal. When you work hard, when you manage your time well, when you take initiative, what can you do to renew your body, your heart, your mind? All those things that we do as individuals creatively to resource ourselves. Do we read? Do we walk in nature? Do we speak with friends? Do we connect with others? Do we laugh more? How do we laugh more? Because the more we laugh, the more we connect, we're actually nourishing our souls.
You need to begin with the end in mind. You have to be able to put first things first. You have to be able to think win-win. You can't work with a friend if you can't have a think win-win attitude. No. What is your highlight for that day?
One is always have a state of mind on when to say yes and on when to say no.
Today I learned that when you plan, for example, if I have a whole week and like I'm stressed because I have so many things to do, I can put the urgent things and I do them first, then I have to go to the not urgent things, and then
I also learned like how to plan through the week. It can be like daily planning or weekly planning, and then also like setting your goals.
You have to be a good listener when someone is talking.
And also I've learned to decide after having that courage of saying no when I'm meaning it.
I need to prioritize the big rocks, the important things, before the smaller things that aren't that important.
And then what falls in quadrant 3 or 4, you can push later because it's either not urgent or not important.
What I learned was to try and create a win-win situation so that everybody's idea would be included in some sort of path or participation.
For me, I came up with this. I will influence those around me, be kind and compassionate to get people to have diverse mindsets and a great sense of independence.
The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. What I'm basically saying, today they have given you the best 3 days, but you probably look like you're on the top. keep climbing, because when you're on top of one mountain, you see the bottom of it. It's very easy to fall back. In other words, it's very easy for us to forget about these 7 habits of highly effective people we've learned and go back to our old ways of doing things. Not so? I summarize this for you by saying something very important. When people were speaking here, never forget to be confident when you have a chance to speak. No one will ever tell people anything better than you can tell people about yourself.
With next session, you people have safe
Hello viewers, welcome to yet another episode of You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. You and the Law, as you know from previous editions, is about demystifying the law and making it simple for every person in this country. We discuss legal matters from all angles. Is it land, property, domestic violence, gender-based violence, everything, criminal law, commercial law, everything that is based on the law. We discuss it here. In this particular edition, we're discussing the effects of COVID-19 on human rights. Over the last few weeks, we've been handling different types of human rights. And today, we're focusing on yet another very important right. That's the rights of children. How has COVID-19 affected children's rights? How are children coping up with the challenges posed by COVID-19? And what does this mean for the obligation to protect rights of children? With me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo, a lead counsel for the GBV program at Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Come to You and the Law.
Thank you.
How have you been?
I'm fine.
How is work, COVID-19, family? Because I know it's been a bit of a crazy, period the last 2 years or so.
Yes, we're fine. Work has changed a bit. Sometimes you're working from home, sometimes you're at the field. But see, with the legal fraternity, it's hard to work from home. It's hard. You have to be in the field. Yes.
You have to appear in court.
You have to appear in court. It's only like when it comes to the rulings that you can have it on Zoom.
Okay, in terms of your work as UCLF, I know that you're one of the leading legal aid organizations, but perhaps you could, for the viewer who could be hearing about UCLF for the first time, could you just tell us a little bit about the organization?
Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, UCLF, is a membership organization. We have over 250 members, and in all different spheres. In all different spheres of life. And we mainly have them in the judiciary. We have also students. We have institutions who all subscribe to be into our membership. And then we have the annual membership fee differently that they pay. So, yeah.
You said it's membership, so it's you pull together different lawyers.
Yes, we have different
and
lawyers.
You must be Christian or...
No, not necessarily Christian, but you see, we see ourselves, yes, Muslim, most of them are Christian, but we reach out to people, different people, just to see that people who have the heart of seeing justice being done in the community, in the world. We want to see a free world without any crime, hopefully.
Okay, so your services reach out to every person, so long as they're...
Yes, we now reach out to everyone.
Okay. I mean, that's a good starter. And perhaps we could go for a break at this point after understanding about UCLF, and then we'll sort of pick back from there and carry on our conversation around the effects of COVID-19 on children's lives. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
The CEO bench is about leadership, self-leadership, change management, and transformation. What is your view of transformation, and how do you see your dream in the next 15, 20 years in Uganda?
We were having a chat earlier, Eddie, where you were telling me about all sorts of statistics that say that Uganda is the most entrepreneurial country in the world and also the most culturally diverse country in the world. Those incredible gifts of this country you can see every day you walk outside. My small contribution to that will be making sure that every single rich, culturally enhanced person and naturally entrepreneurial person has the education foundation that they need to thrive and pursue whatever purpose they have. The world that we live in.
Hey, I found my heart again. You were standing there, you bravely let me in. I could
name is Irene Namiga, and I'm the road safety engineer for KCCA. We are here today for the monthly cycling for Kampala City. Kampala Capital City Authority has partnered with EB to do the monthly cycling with other stakeholders, fan cycling, other cycling stakeholders, and other groups of cyclists, so that we can create awareness for the cycling as a mode of transportation within the city, especially for short trips, but also for longer trips. Ideally, our intent is cycling as a mode for short trips within the city or outside the city, but also to convert some of our borders onto cycling. We partnered with EB, who are manufacturers of electric bikes, so that we see how to promote cycling with ease, so that people are not worried about I'll get dirty, I'll be sweating, but also importantly for motorists to know that they can share road spaces with cyclists and not necessarily have to disregard them. Our biggest challenge now has been the fight between borders, taxis and other vehicles not wanting to leave space for the cyclists. And we are hoping that that can change the more we do this. Thank you very much.
My name is Claire Birenji. I'm the Transport Systems Manager for ITDP. ITDP is a global institution working to promote sustainable transport. Today, we joined KCCA and other fellow cyclists to raise the cause for cycling in cities. It was important to raise the awareness for cycling. We're not only raising the awareness for increasing the number of cyclists and cycling, but also to amplify the cause for improving infrastructure in cities to cater for safe cycling.
Hello, my name is Alex Myambawazi, and we are here at KCCA preparing to go on the road. I will be riding my bike, my e-bike. We are going to sensitize people about road safety, for we all know that currently in Uganda we have a high prevalence of road traffic accidents, and we need to ensure that we sensitize people, tell them about how to use the roads, and sensitize people about the fact that even us who are like this should have the opportunity of using the road.
Hi, my name is Anna, and Cycling City.
Every day we lose 13 people in crashes. It's important to everyone to understand this. And every time we come together, like I told you, that road safety is a shared responsibility. We all have roles to play. It is not something to leave to the traffic, it is not something to leave to our leaders. But everyone has a role to play. We must all come on ground and see what we are supposed to do. Bring those responsibilities on the roads. Do what we are supposed to do. It is the only way we can minimize road crashes.
From the secret places of Orient in Africa to the modern masters of developers in Africa, here comes an alluring summit of 2024. Welcome your neighbor to the Pearl of Africa.
Stalking has been in existence for 14 years. So it's been 14 years of trying to figure out how we can make Africa great. Our focus has always been Africa, hence the name Africa Stalking. The theme this year is innovating Africa's future. So we definitely can, there's no way we're going to innovate without devs. So good to see you in the room. The summit is officially open. Have fun, enjoy yourselves. Looking forward to talking to each and every one of you.
As you guys grow, please come and talk to us about what we are seeing in your sector.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Welcome to the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and my guest this morning on the CEO Bench is a businessman, is an entrepreneur, is a philanthropist, and a social activist. He speaks a lot about youth empowerment across Africa and across the continent. And he's been a man around Africa and oil and gas industry. He's done it all. And he's here with us this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening on the CEO Bench, depending on where you're coming from and which part of the world you're actually watching this program from. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe. Emperor, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Eddie. It's nice to be here with you. It's quite a very pleasant day, and I'm ready for you.
All right, if you're joining us from anywhere in the world, I'd like to bring a very small profile of Emperor Chris to you. Emperor Chris is, like I said, is an entrepreneur and, of course, a philanthropist, a social activist. He is from a state in Nigeria known as Iusu Awa. Enugu State.
So I'm from Enugu State. That's the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Okay, let's talk about that. Now that you've talked about it, who is Emperor Chris?
Just a young man, little unknown, but known. Like the introduction goes with, and I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a social activist, and I'm a mentor of youths. I've been around. I'm a business guy. I take interest in anything that will make the world safe and better place. I'm a family man with 4 kids, and I'm from a family of 8. I'm the 3rd. So Chris Baywood has been around, like you captured in your intro. Yeah. I've been around Africa, from Western Africa, where I come from, because I'm from the ECOWAS region of the Sub-Saharan Africa. I've been around East Africa. I've been around the SADC region, that is Southern Africa. I think where is missing is Central Africa. So, yeah. And I'll tell you, because I take a lot of interest in Africa, because I'm a Pan-African. I love Africa. I breathe Africa. I talk Africa.
Wow.
Yes. So this is why most of my business interest is trying to, tap the opportunities and the potentials that are in Africa, because I believe that's one of Africa, like I always tell people, is the remaining frontier. So I don't know what I'm going to look for in Europe or what I'm going to look for in North America that they cannot find in Africa. Wow. So this is who Emperor Chris Baywood is.
Well, if you're joining us from anywhere across the world, that's Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe talking to us on the CEO Bench. He is the CEO and the president of the Baywood Group. And the Baywood Group has offices all across Africa and Europe. And we're going to know, and in South America, I think, we're going to know. North America, and we're going to know a lot more about that on the CEO Bench. But we want to start the discussion, Emperor Chris Baywood, from a point of leadership. A lot of people are doing great stuff across Africa, and sometimes those who are doing great stuff across Africa is not known to us. Sometimes we don't know the talent we have, but we have been looking at your profile, and I want to start from a more personal note of knowing you from what is leadership to you and what is self-leadership to you?
Well, it depends on where you're coming from. Leadership, are you talking about political? Are you talking about human leadership or human capital? But generally, leadership is being this man that sets the directives, or rather sets the process in motion, a thought-out process, and you follow this process, and you walk your talk, because it's not about, the leadership is not just, this is how we're going to do it, and perhaps you set the process in place, but you're doing contrary. So leadership, they say, starts with you. And so if you want to talk about business leadership, how to go about the business, it has to be seen on the way you conduct your own business. And don't forget that they always say that the greatest asset you have in every organization is human beings. So leadership starts with you and how you interact with the people around you. You know, even in your home. The truth is, if you're not able to lead your home very well, you can't lead anything else.
Wow.
Yeah, I think if you have a broken home, let's put it this way. If you're not able to manage your home very well and put your home in a good pedestal where everybody seems to be aligned with you, I would doubt it very much if you have a good set of mind to lead any other organization, be it in business, be it in social arrangement, be it in what they call, CSO ward. So CSO ward means the social community social organization. So I know. So for me, leadership starts with you, and this is what I have set the example for myself. And whatever I do, I have to do it right. I know the principles that guides it. I know the policies. You have to have the right policy framework, and this policy framework has to be seen to be working according to the way you have said it. And he said everybody along that line, that trajectory, and they follow suit. And then make sure you lead by example. Because one of the challenges we have in Africa that a lot of people don't lead by example. You say one thing and do another. So this is exactly for me leadership. Leadership is that quality you have to lead others, and others will look at you and emulate you and follow you through and through because they believe in you. So first of all, you have to buy the confidence of the people. All right? And this is what I'm saying. If in your home, you can't get the confidence of your children, for example, daddy comes home every time by 4 a.m. and daddy messes around in the house, maybe he smokes and everywhere is littered, or daddy drinks and is just so reckless with everything. You don't expect your child tomorrow. You tell your child, hey, listen, you must not come back anything later than 7 p.m. He can only say, yes, daddy, I hear you. But do you think he's going to abide by that? Because you're already leading by example. Yeah. He sees you come home at 4 a.m. Or anytime he asks for daddy's not at home. Yeah. So leadership starts with you. And if you set that example, others will follow you.
Wow. Thank you very much, Emperor Chris Baywood. Let's talk about yourself, self-leadership. How did you pick yourself? Where did you come from? Take us back from growing up and getting to where you are today and who you are today. Some people out there may not know who you are today. They just think that you're just a man with a good, deep voice, sound like some movie star. It's like Barry White. His sound is, many people would mistake you to be Barry White. Many people would take you to be, Morgan Freeman. Where is Emperor Chris? And the name Emperor?
Well, like I always tell people, I'm a man with different shades of colors. Positive, right? But you can have different shades of colors, but negative. So I think I meet positive vibes, because I've read quite a lot of books that teaches on positive energy and law of attraction. What is law of attraction? You have to love yourself first.
Yeah.
If you can't love yourself, you can never attract same positive aura. So I learned that over time by reading quite a lot of books. And one of such books I read is, I tell everybody to read that book. Either you read it or you watch it. It's Secret by Rhonda Byrnes. It's quite captivating and it's quite insightful. It's motivational. It's inspirational. It's one of such books that when you read them, you see you start to especially when you read them and put them in practice, right? Because one thing is to read the book, or read books and try to see, provided you are on the right path. You can read certain things and you have certain information that might send negative vibes. So for me, I always look at the positive vibes for everything. So a man of different shades of colors, I say, is I come as a very corporate person when it's necessary. I come as a very as an activist when it's necessary. I come as a lover of life. Socially, I describe myself as a social butterfly. Yes, I think so, because in certain quarters, when you see me, you will imagine that you will just begin to ask yourself, this is not the same person. Yeah. But if you see me in my office where I'm working and you look at my face, no, my face turns you up because I'm serious in my business, okay? When it's that moment, I face it. And when it's time to have fun and just drop my guard, I drop my guard and then come down from my high horse so I can relate with the people at the level, at this level. Because if you don't do that, you'll be alone. You'll be left alone. Yeah. All right? Yeah. One of the biggest challenges we have, rich people have, or the wealthy people have, is loneliness. Yeah. And why? When you can't come down from your high horse, right? Yeah. To relate with the people at the level, you'll be alone. Yeah. So it's a lonely world. Wow. So I grew up as a young man, like I said earlier, from a family of 8 and number 3. I would say from a mid-average family. My father was a farmer of an issue before he got into construction. He was a miner, a coal miner. He worked in the coal corporation because in my state, before oil was discovered in Nigeria, the main foreign exchange earner for Nigeria was coal, granite, cocoa, and all those other agro products. And of course, a whole lot of things was happening around coal. And so we have the coal belt in my zone. So my father worked in coal corporation. Okay, he understands what it means to be a hard worker. Yeah. He understands principles of discipline, because if you work in such an environment, anything can happen. The next minute you are alive, the next minute you can die because of the accidents or the inherent challenges in the coal mining. Yeah. So he comes across a very disciplined guy. So we grew up being very disciplined children, and that has instilled quite a lot of things growing up. Although growing up as a young man, being the first male child, I didn't know the story of male child in Africa, so I was so treasured. The first were ladies, and by the time I was born and male child, it was like, wow, this is the best thing that could ever happen to the family. So I received so much attention from my parents, and to the point that I almost lost it as a man. But thankfully, there was a turnaround when my father decided to be tough on me.
Tell us about my brother. How did your father decide to be tough on you? You were so loved. From what I hear from the literature I've seen about you, you seem to have been a man who has very interesting background. I mean, one would describe as the man who is up, not up, in the middle, is somewhere. What does that mean to you? What was a turning point?
Turning point for me, I mean, so many things have happened in my life that. But my father set the tone, he toughened me, I would say, and that such moment can never be forgotten. My father let me walk through, almost like you can liken it to what you see in the Bible, like in Psalm 23. He said, "Though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil." Yeah. Okay. My father made me to walk through the shadow of death as a young boy, I don't know whether he did it deliberately. I don't know whether he knew what he was doing.
You walked through the shadow of death.
Yeah, I walked through the shadow of death, as a young boy, because he let me go through a part that, I mean, when my mother got to know what happened to me. My mother was in awe and she couldn't believe it. I had gone through an admission process in secondary school. So first I got admission with the Federal Government College Benin, where that was my first admission, Federal Government College Benin, which is in another state. It's in the current day Edo State, but then it was a Midwestern state. So I had admission to go to school that. My father took me, or rather, and you know what? The interesting thing about the Federal Government College, then, it was exclusive of the rich and the bourgeois. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The rich and the bourgeois.
In the sense of wealth and
both wealth, both position, political, political affiliations and inclinations and stuff like that. But my father was not near any one of those. My family. At the time, anyway, but you know what?
So how did you get
a smart guy is a smart guy. I've been a smart dude from I've been endowed with a lot of natural intelligence. Don't forget, I think so. Yeah, I've been endowed with a lot of natural intelligence because it comes from my dad. My dad was. I called my dad when my dad passed on, and I was writing his what do you call it? His autobiography, eulogies. I said he's the greatest philosopher I have seen. Because he was full of wisdom and idioms and proverbs. He will never talk to you without proverbs or idioms, and stuff like that. And he will start with a lot of stories. And you think he's not going anywhere, and then he lands. And you ask him, Dad, well, why are you going through all this? Well, say, for you to understand where I'm coming from. So, he wasn't quite educated, but I can tell the little he had is a very, I wonder what would have happened if my dad had gone through formal education to go to university and stuff like that. Anyway, so that were naturally imbued with it. I can tell you, both my mom and my dad are quite an excellent human beings, and I will always wish to have same parents anytime, even in my next world. Anyway, that said, so I had this admission into Federal Government College, and it went wild. It went like a wildfire in the community. The son of so got admission in the Federal Government College, and it was like...
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Oh yeah, it was a big deal in the 70s, man. I said it was exclusive of the big people.
Yeah.
So my uncle then in Lagos came to Enugu. He heard the news and he couldn't hold his joy. He came down to Enugu and took me to Benin again for the next level of admission process. And that next level is written and oral interview, So we did that. And listen, when we arrived in Benin, it was like my I was there. My other colleagues, those coming for the interviews, were driving in different kinds of cars. In those days, it was Citroen, it was Peugeot, it was Mercedes, it was Ford and other stuff. But we came on a commercial vehicle. Wouldn't that be a dampener to you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that make you lose your self-esteem when you walk in from a car park, what we call a motor park, and people are driving in with
big engine style,
and then you walk in.
Yeah.
But you know what? You believe in yourself. That's one thing I keep telling people. Believe in yourself first. I had this awesome confidence, and I believe in myself.
Yeah.
I walked in, had the exam, written, and the oral, because written and oral will form the cumulative result to gain you admission into the federal college. So at the last point, I just asked the guy I was right behind to spell tomorrow. Tomorrow.
The word tomorrow.
The word tomorrow, and that's why I treasure tomorrow so much. You know why? Tomorrow is pregnant.
Wow.
You don't know what's going to deliver. Yeah. So you got to look forward for tomorrow. Yeah. And I tell people, it's like what I tell people, the day of reckoning. There's always a day of reckoning in your life.
Yeah.
That day of reckoning, it will come one day. That day, you will not know. So it's like tomorrow. It's certain that tomorrow will come, right? But you don't know what tomorrow will bring. So this guy couldn't spell tomorrow. And I'm good with English.
And this boy coming from Enugu State,
and this
from
this
school,
guy, this young boy, not so much around him, had it all done, and so that plus my written exam gave me admission, but for the love my parents had for me, I got that admission, but my father wouldn't let me to stay.
Why?
Distance. It takes a drive. Then I think it will take you a drive of about 4, 5, 6 hours to get there in those days, right?
Yeah.
So the distance was for him. No, I mean I must be close to my son. Don't forget,
Wow.
firstborn,
This is the first
first male born, right? Treasure Island, Treasure
the heir
Island,
to the throne.
exactly.
Yeah.
Heir to the throne,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. So they decided that okay, I had admission, but you're not gonna go. I did a few months there. My father pulled me back and said, "You got to come back home because you have to be close to us." Yeah. I came home, took another common entrance, and then bingo, I landed another one in my state, where finally I attended Colliery Comprehensive Secondary School. Yeah. It's in a community called Ngwo, Ngwo, Ngwo. Right?
Yeah.
The school then was run by, that's why it's called Colliery. Colliery is formed from the coal corporation of these white men, these British people who came to Nigeria to explore coal.
Yeah.
So the school was like exclusive, exclusive, right?
Yeah.
So, well, it was good I got that admission to that school. And it was one of the premier schools then in Enugu State. Then East Central State. Wow. There was no Enugu State. East Central State. Yeah. Right. Okay? Of course, my father drove me to do some clearance. We went to do the clearance.
To the school.
To the school.
Yeah.
Or with school. And of course, my father was working elsewhere, not in my state. He was working in another place.
Yeah.
So, a drive-through, we went to the school, did the clearance and everything, bingo. And they said, okay, I will go with him, so he'll drop me off somewhere.
Hold it right there, Emperor. We're going to go for a break. And when we come back from this break, Emperor will continue with his with his story of self-leadership, how the transformation happened, how, he became a man from a 12-year-old man to becoming a man, the turning point of the young man, the heir to the throne. The man was heavily protected. Stay right there. The CEO Bench will be right back after this break. Welcome back from that break. This is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela. I'm talking to my elder brother from another mother and father in Nigeria, right here in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. And for all of you guys who are following this from all across the world, please go like, share, far and wide. Make sure you get your cousins, your brothers and your sisters, your grandma as part of the CEO Bench to hear this story. It's a story worth listening to. Emperor Baywood, welcome back to the program. Thank you. Before we went for a break, you were talking about that moment where you had to flip because the love from your parents were too much and they couldn't risk leaving you 4 or 5 hours of a drive in another school, and they brought you back, and there you've gone and visited the school. And we want to know how this boy who was heavily loved by his parents, how a baby who was pampered. Most times in Africa, when a baby is over-pampered or anywhere in the world, they don't turn out quite well. But you turn out to be quite different. And the story continues from the school. Pick it up from there, Emperor.
I don't know. Anyway, so we're done with the school. I drove with my dad in his car. And he dropped me off somewhere I have never been to. That's why I said it's like I walked through the valley of shadow of death.
So you're like David.
That is the right phrase. Yeah. I walked through the valley of shadow of death. And my father just said, okay, guy, I'll stop here and I'm driving to my place. I'm going, so I'll leave you here. You see this road? This road takes you to Isuawa. Because my mother was in the village.
Yeah.
And who are you? Not these days when our kids will look in your face and question you.
Yeah.
Say, Dad, Why should I do that, for example? Who are you to challenge your father?
You will receive a smack.
Oh my God. He wasn't even there. And my father was just such a strong man. I wouldn't call him a terror. He wasn't a terror, but he dared not. He dared not. He dared not.
Yeah.
Anyway, he
the
just said,
signs will tell you what
correct,
the situation will be.
you
Yeah.
know. He said, just walk through this path. Bush path. My guy. I walked through that path. And the story, well, some stories were told in the folk tales, you know?
Yeah.
Tales by moonlight, you know?
Yeah.
So folk tales, when we're growing up, we will have a lot of folk tales. They will be telling stories of how such areas are infested with spirits, evil spirits.
Yes.
people when you die, like you commit something in the village and you die like that, they will just go and dump you there. They won't bury you. And so it's a evil, kind of an evil forest, an evil. So now I just remembered this could be this way. My God, I was struck with fear. But do I have a choice? What choice do I have, really? And my father drove off. Don't you understand?
So you have to trek this forest and actually get home.
I will have to walk through that path
and get home.
To get home.
Yeah.
That was the toughest moment in my life.
How old were you?
Maybe about 12 or 10, 12. That was the toughest moment in my life. A young boy, treasured boy, pampered boy. And this man left me
the one
here.
they will never allow sit down alone.
Exactly. I walked through this path. Walking through this forest was so calm, but for every little move, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The
moment has come.
This moment has come.
Yeah.
They're going to devour me now.
Yeah.
I would just freeze.
Yeah.
I would just freeze and start tiptoeing like they shouldn't hear my footpath. The height of the moment was when I saw a man walking opposite direction.
Yeah.
And he was like,
wow.
Okay, now I'm going to be like a mincemeat. This man is going to make me a mincemeat. I wouldn't know whether it's a man or evil spirit or a ghost walking around.
Or just a normal human being.
Don't forget, or just a normal human being. Because don't forget that this area was described as a place where they just dump people who die some unnatural death. Oh God, I said, okay, I'm going to be devoured today. And I was like, I started panting. I was panting until we crossed each other and I greeted, "Good morning, sir." He said, "Good morning." He didn't say anything. He just walked across. And I'm like, is this true? So when I walked a little bit, I turned back and he was still walking. He didn't disappear because to me, he would disappear.
Yeah.
You know, the ghost.
Yes.
The ghost would disappear.
And he didn't respond to you when you say good morning?
Just, good morning. Yeah. But that was like... So the moment I walked past him, I had to run. It took me, I would say it's a walk of about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So you know the distance.
Wow.
It's a walk of 2 hours until I got home. My dear brother, that was a turning point of making this guy who was like a lily gel to start becoming a man. Yeah. And when I got home and I told my mother this story, my mother passed out and said it was murderous for my dad to have done to have taken that kind of decision. But anyway.
And I know that in Nigeria, that can be such a very, we watch in Nigerian movies and how they can express some of that moment.
Oh yeah, it was a moment, my mother couldn't just, I say she passed out in awe and shock, how my father could do that. I have never been anywhere on my own.
That was the first time.
Only for me to be left alone to do that work. Yeah. So, what's the book written by Nelson Mandela? He said it's Long Walk to Freedom.
The Long Walk to Freedom, yes.
The long Walk to Freedom.
So you felt that was the Long Walk to Freedom for you?
Yeah. Long Walk to Freedom for me then.
Yeah.
I think I did it before Nelson Mandela.
This is a CEO Bench. We're talking to Emperor Baywood. He believes that he's a young man, in an old body or an aged mind. Yes. So, Emperor Baywood, what a stunning story there of from child to manhood, so to speak. That's how you rediscovered yourself. That's how your father had to make sure. There was wisdom there, though. I want to take you straight, Emperor, to some really very interesting question about, life. And a lot of us see people like you, and sometimes we're wondering whether we really understand you or not. You are now, been through that school, done that, and after that school, where did you end up?
Well, after school, I had to move to Kaduna because my brother, although not the same mother, is my first cousin. But because of how we relate in the family, we have nothing like cousins. Yeah. It's brother, right? My brother, who has been in oil business, he's been in oil and gas. So they built Kaduna Refinery. He was one of the major proponents of Kaduna Refinery with a group from Japan called Chiyoda. So, done with the school, of course, that's another kettle of fish. That school is another school that is a school that really prepared me for the challenge ahead.
How did it prepare you for the challenge?
Oh, yeah, that school was like almost a congregation of retired, or I won't say retired, defeated soldiers of the Biafran War. We had this fratricidal war in Nigeria, Biafran-Nigerian war that was between 1960 to 1966, I'm talking about. Yeah. So the war ended. Thereafter, then there came normalcy in Nigeria. So I didn't see the war. I was a very young boy. I was born during those periods. So I went to school, and getting to that school, the war had ended, and all those who left army after Nigeria had defeated Biafra, and a lot of our guys who were in the army then found themselves in that college. Dear brother.
Yeah. No problem now.
That was another working to develop of that. Those Biafran soldiers.
Yes.
Some of them were having shelling shock. You know what shelling shock?
Yeah.
Because of bombardment of mortars and stuff and shellings. You know what? They're already having issues with their hearing. They already had hearing issues, right?
Yeah.
And they were military in the college. Soldiers in the college. And here comes this young boy at the school, amongst others. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I went to a military school. Literally saying that the school was more like a military school.
Yeah.
So you were drilled, you were punished, you were living a regimented lifestyle, you had people or masters that you serve, and God bless your soul, if
you don't serve them well.
If you don't do well.
Yeah.
The punishment, the drill, a lot of us couldn't stand it. So for people like us who went through that school and stood up to them and passed through, I think it was a turning point, actually.
Yeah.
I tell you, it was one hell of school that toughened a lot of us. Smoking Indian hemp was just like drinking water. And this is when I know that I'll be a good boy, because I did it once, but I was walking in the air.
All the time.
No. When I tested it, when they make you to smoke Indian hemp, right?
Yes.
So one time I did it, I was just floating. I was like somebody in the Mars.
Yeah.
You know, if you see the astronauts, how they float.
Yes.
This is where I saw myself floating.
Yeah.
And that told me that this is not a thing you can continue. That's one thing that I learned out of that. I had to cut. I couldn't proceed. Anyway, that school toughened me.
Yeah.
And it prepared us for the launch pad.
Yeah.
It was a launch pad for us, actually.
Yeah.
Those of us who went to the school.
Yeah.
A good number of us became useless. A good number of us, people didn't know they would turn out to be good people.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty happy that a good number of us are doing pretty well. And one of us today is the country director, head of UN in Rwanda, and many others. We have a lot of them in army generals.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm happy that my father took that decision. If I'd gone to the other school that is meant for the bourgeois, children of bourgeois, perhaps I may not have turned out the way I turned out to be today. Wow. And again, hindsight, I thank God that my father took that decision.
Wow. Talking of that, Emperor, let's look at, out of that college, how did you end up in the oil and gas sector? Which university, how did you launch yourself into that? You could have gone back and, continue with the mining like your father was doing. Most times parents raise children to go back to what they're doing, but you turn out different. Can you just share that, your journey into becoming an entrepreneur and later on as an, philanthropist?
Yeah, so I left school and then I had to go to Kaduna to meet my brother, and then of course to apply for my US visa. Because I was heading to the US. Down the line, it wasn't coming pretty easy, so I had to set up. Because in school, we were involved in a lot of things. We did artisanal work, we did music, we did dancing, we did arts, we did construction. It's more like a technical college.
Yeah.
So we had all manner of things. So I learned a lot in that school. It's a technical college. So you had the opportunity to go to workshops.
Yeah.
That's again what I'm talking about, skill acquisition, right?
Yeah.
And once you acquire the first skill and passion, you never leave it. It becomes part of you. So I acquired a whole lot of skill while I was in school. So while waiting for this whole thing, I decided to set up something like a studio, a music studio. So I set up a music studio while waiting for my visa, and I became a DJ. Of course, in those days, we were doing LPs. LPs, long play. Okay, so not these days that you can just do MP3, download music, and online music and stream, blah, blah. It's LP, man. It's gramophone. You just put it and it's playing with a kind of makeshift, loudspeakers, built locally, So, and then I would go and be blasting my music, entertaining people. So I've been So I was a DJ, man. So it's a passion that has not left me because music is part of me. If I'm not doing anything, I'm listening to music today.
Yeah.
So I did that for 1 year, and I tell you one interesting thing that happened. During that time, my brother, like I said, my brother is being an oil mogul amongst many others again from my community. So we always envy them, how they make money, how they spend money, the things they do. So when I was giving money to go for my visa, some guys approached me. I don't know how they knew that I got money. Oh God, that's another thing again. Some guys approached me. These guys, they call them money doublers. Do you know that? I don't know if you have anything like that.
They're the money doublers, yes. We'll double your money. We call them your money gamblers.
From nowhere, these guys appeared to me and said, listen, don't worry. If you give us that money, we'll make you get richer than your brother. You don't know what your brother is doing. You think he's doing oil and gas? No, this things you do, but the people making him rich. So you become richer than your brother. Wow, I said, really? Good at 10. I decided to use my money for the visa to go and double, so I can become richer than my brother. I was already planning how to buy a Mercedes. I'm going to teach my brother how to make money.
Yeah.
Because my brother was already driving Mercedes and cars at that time. Can't you believe?
Yeah,
I was already,
okay,
I'm going to teach my brother today how to make money. Right?
Yeah.
He thinks he's rich. I'm going to tell him.
Yeah.
So I gave them the money. I think about 1,000 of our naira at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, the guys were so excited. I didn't see my money. My money was gone.
To this day.
And so on this day, this guy took me to a place and said, just sit here. We're going to prepare your market for you. They call it market.
Yeah.
We're going to prepare your market for you. Then we're going to give you this money. But don't forget, at the first time, they gave me some little notes to go and change.
Yes.
Go and try this money so you'll be sure that the money we're giving you is real. It's not fake.
Yeah.
I went to the market to buy a few things. And of course, it was good money, supposedly.
Yeah.
It was good money, supposedly.
Yeah.
So I went with these guys at the last count to go and collect my market,
Yeah.
as it's called. My brother, The last I heard was somebody screaming and shouting that police has arrested him, bringing the market. Everybody should run away, that the police is coming to arrest everybody. The guy scampered. And then the next scamper was how they discharged me.
Wow.
I lost my money.
And did you go back to your father to ask
I
for
went to
more money?
I was devastated. I didn't know what to tell my brother. I didn't know what to say. So information got to my brother somehow, and my brother called my dad. My dad came. A man of wisdom. He said to me, my friend, the only one word he said, you are stupid. Somebody said, give me 1 naira. Let me give you 2 naira. Don't you think? You should have told the person, why not make yourself rich? Why make me rich before you? Why don't you double the money and make the money yourself?
The life of a philanthropist, the life of an entrepreneur, the life of the man who is now the CEO of the Baywood Group that we now know in Nigeria. What a story. Emperor, proceed.
So...
Your father says you're stupid.
My father said, you're stupid. My friend, you're stupid. He didn't smack me. He didn't beat me. He didn't scold me as much. But my friend, you're stupid. You want to double money, right?
Yeah.
So the person loves you more than himself. Should have doubled the money and make the money himself. It's stuck here. And that's what I go to everywhere. Man, when you're making a business proposal to me, I'm looking at you. Till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Till tomorrow. It's like my sixth sense. I will always remember that word. You're stupid. So, anyway, so he became a guide, and he set the tone for who I am in business. Then I went to school eventually to Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is, of course, Soviet Union and all this Republic of Russia.
Of all the places, you were going to the US and you ended up in Yugoslavia.
I didn't go to the US eventually. I ended up in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Of course, before I worked a little bit with my uncle again, who had one of the biggest construction industries in my state. So I assisted the quantity surveyor, who was then in charge of his company, you know, in charge of cost estimation, cost evaluation, and cost evaluations. You know, so I gathered a bit of experience working with them as an intern, because that's one thing again you have to intern. I believe in intern a lot, because if you do intern, that will stimulate your appetite and your skill and interest in everything.
Yeah.
So doing that job as an intern, you know, sharpened my appetite and the skill to want to study it. So I eventually went to Yugoslavia to do to study quantity surveyor. I was there until the war broke out, you know. Anyway, so we lost it. I came back to Nigeria in 1987. Okay. And that's the beginning of Baywood Group.
Wow. Let's talk about Baywood Group after this break. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, Emperor Baywood is going to be telling us about the Baywood Group. What really happened? How did it start? You've already gotten some part of the story of it is not easy to make it in life, and he's made it. So the question is, are you ready? The CEO Bench brings you people who shares their story of where they have come from, where they are going. If they're on the top and they're coming down, what lessons do we pick from there? If they're down and going up, what lessons should we pick from them? What are the lessons that we can pick from there and we can use for ourselves? Stay right there, I'll be right back after this break. This is the CEO Bench.
Africa is Talking Summit 2024 has actually been of great impact to African development, because this is a tech summit where young developers in our developer ecosystem have had a chance to interact and learn from the industry experts who actually understand where the development in technology, especially in Africa, is headed. So it's presented them an opportunity to now go back and build solutions that they've actually identified the gaps during this summit in technology. These solutions will be brought to the marketplace and they'll be able to now solve a lot of these problems that we experience in Africa.
This summit has really been amazing, just looking at how it has brought people from different organizations, different backgrounds, just coming together to create new ideas, build new technology for Africa. That alone shows that we are working towards the best, and I am looking forward to what is to come.
For me, it's about answering the needs of Africa. And as Africa is talking, we are trying to support the innovations that will answer this problem. So we are at the point where we are positioning ourselves to help developers to be able to innovate to solve those problems. So this summit has brought together experts from different fields, different countries, and different expertise. So it's been a very engaging session where we have experts, we have people who are learning, a lot of networking, a lot of exchanges, and yeah, it's been amazing.
So I believe the Summit 2025 is a place to start and encourage the young people, the people at the lowest stage, to grow and build for Africa.
I know definitely it may not be in Uganda, but it will bring together a bigger group of developers and industry experts and even business leaders and entrepreneurs.
I think the tech industry is going to grow huge. I think in the next 5-10 years, we are going to have amazing stuff. We're going to have things that we have not seen before. And I'm really excited because I am seeing what the young minds are coming up with.
So just based on how this 2024 summit has been, I can't wait. I know it will be bigger, it will be better, and it can only get better from here. And we are looking forward to even bringing in more experts, more developers, more partners, more customers in the next session. So you should plan to be there.
Basically, innovating for Africa means that we are coming up with new ideas to make Africa better in the future.
As Africa's talking, we are looking at innovating around just answering to the needs of the people of Africa and ensuring that Africa is growing to where it needs to be.
To me, I look at it from an opportunity because with the software engineering, they have ability to really build solutions that will innovate Africa.
Welcome back to the program. This is the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okila, and my guest on the program today is a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, a social activist, is the man who speaks life to youth. Emperor Baywood, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
Let's talk about Baywood. You had gambled your school fees already, and yes, through gambling. So we know that every child almost across the African continent has fallen trap of that story of we'll make you rich, we'll make you make some more money, give us your school fees. Now we all fall in that. But let's move past that and then go to the straight of what is Baywood and how did you come up with Baywood? Let's pick it up from there.
Okay, so thank you very much, Eddie. I'm glad to be here again, and it's nice. I love what you're doing, and just keep it up.
Thank you.
First of all, my name is Chris Baywood. My middle name is Baywood. Yeah. Okay, the Baywood was derived from, again, my father, having worked in construction industry, worked with a couple of white guys, as his colleagues, from coal to construction. So he's a man with diverse view of everything. He did agro, what he was doing, farming. From farming, he went coal mining, he returned back to construction industry. And he grew from there until he retired, and then, of course, lived his life, and we took over from where he stopped, right? So Baywood is a name he gave to me because of relationship he had with some of his colleagues, those days in working with Michelletti and co and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I love the way the name resonates for me, you know what I'm saying? So when I decided to register a company, Baywood became very strong. And then the Continental, originally was Continental, Baywood Continental. Because my friend had a company called Gillis Continental. And I love the way it sounds. I like the vowel, Continental. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of guys register companies in Nigeria and say, so Nigerian Limited. You know, I'm a guy with different, I mean, I'm very stylish, you know, I do my thing.
Yeah.
People do so and so.
We can see it right now.
Yes. You know, a lot of companies will say, oh, so and Sons Nigerian Limited, so and Sons West African Limited. And I said, no, I don't want all these names. They sound very archaic and local.
Yeah.
So let me go international. So I said, Baywood Continental. Can't you understand?
Yeah, I don't understand.
And there's always is something in the name.
Yeah.
This name, Baywood,
just
that name
gave
me a lot of mileage and leverage in doing my business.
Wow.
Yeah, I can tell you, yes. So Baywood was born, and Baywood was born to do every business. Regardless of what, you know, you just want to do business, right?
Yeah.
So we did trading to, from trading to supermarket. I remember we ran a supermarket. We did trading from Japan, from China, no, not China, Hong Kong then, Thailand, bringing air conditioners, you know, refrigerators. Me and my wife, you know, my wife is, she comes from a background of, you know, business-oriented family. And her community, her state now is called Anambra State. And they are predominantly business people, right? And I tell you one thing about Anambra State, sorry. Anambra in Nigeria, that they have the largest concentration of per individual wealth in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yes. The largest concentration in the whole country per individual wealth. Almost everybody, one family has a wealthy person. They are also educated. Don't take it away from them. Yeah. The Ojukus of this world, the deeds of that world. You know, the Ojuku that led the Biafran War is from Anambra State. His father was one of the biggest moguls, pre-colonial. Yeah. So, anyway, a combination of myself and my wife, we did quite a lot, you know. Very supportive woman, I can tell you. So from there, from trading to, you know, let's get to corporate. Yeah. And the Baywood was now born with a formal office, because that time we're just importing items from, you know, from Hong Kong, Thailand, UK, anything I go. So we're just importing and selling, from baby products to air conditioning, to refrigerators, to cars, to what have you. We did quite a lot of things, you know, trying to survive. And then, of course, from there, somebody said to me, but your brothers are in this industry.
Oil and gas.
Oil and gas. Go to them. What do you mean? Go to them. Take a cue from what they're doing. So I went to one of my cousins, I know, who, big time, you know, big time. I'm telling you, big time. In those early days, they're already doing business of $30 million and above. Imagine, $30 million and above. At that time, my God. Just opposite today, it's well over maybe $300 million, $400 million. That's it is.
Just a moment. So when did you incorporate Baywood? When did it come? 1989. So correct. The $30 million we're talking about, your brothers, was 1989.
Pre-1989, they're already doing business of over $30 million.
Proceed.
You know what I'm saying? They were living large.
Yeah.
These guys were in charge.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went to my cousin and I said, listen, this is what I want to do. And we just signed an MOU to use his facility. Because to be in this industry, you have to show that you have competence and you have the capacity, both financial and technical, you know. Yeah. That's when we started inching into oil and gas. So, of course, I had an arrangement with my brother who runs a company called Funktai Limited. Funktai is a name borrowed from Korea, because he does a lot of business with Koreans and China, Chinese people. He had a major project that time that he partnered with Chinese guys and I think Korean guys. And when they were done, he adopted the name Funktai, you know, and it's still a very big name to reckon with today in Nigeria when you talk about construction and dredging and what have you. So we got into a quasi partnership. Yeah. Quasi in the sense that The equipment were available to me.
Yeah.
He gave me an MOU that I could use any of the tools he wanted, and I wanted to use, because that's what the IOCs want to see.
Yeah.
It's not that, oh, I have them, because they're going to inspect what
So
you
the
have.
IOC being the International Organization Corporation.
International Oil Corporations.
Yes.
Yeah, oil companies. You know. So we started with that. The first I had was security contract to do installation for the then Minister of Petroleum.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal, man.
Yeah.
Getting into NNPC database, that is what it means.
Yeah.
Because that time I was in NNPC database.
Yeah.
Okay? So I was just trading and doing other things, but not in corporate world.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah.
So the day I was paid, the day Baywood was paid by NNPC, almost, I think I laminated the payment. I laminated the payment instruction.
Yes, it's back that one on the scene. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
so that was your first payment.
That was the first payment.
Being
Like
an
I can't remember what that payment was like. Maybe about 50,000 or 500,000 to do installation, and I'm like, wow.
Dollars or naira?
Dollars.
Dollars.
My man, I'm not dealing naira. I'm dealing. I suddenly realized I can make money in dollars. Don't you understand how sweet it sounds, right?
Yeah. yes. Uh-huh.
Like
So
I said,
laminated the payment.
it's like I laminated the payment instruction.
Yeah.
Wow. That was the spore.
Wow.
Okay. So
And that's a turning point.
That was a turning point. I said, okay, so I can do this.
Yeah.
So I was virtually everywhere. Civil construction, ICT. Then the next one I had again was to do LAN, local area network.
Yes.
For the same NNPC. Like, wow. So things are turning around, right? Yeah. Got into construction, did a lot of civil construction for NNPC again. NNPC stands for Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. Yeah. So, for records. So just like you have Ugandan National Oil Company here. So, wow. And Baywood was becoming a name.
Baywood was becoming Baywood.
Yes, Baywood was
becoming Baywood.
And that's why I said there's always something in a name.
Yeah.
Make no mistakes about it.
Yeah.
First of all, each time Baywood presents the business card or whatever, first thing, it's an international company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not Ikechukwu and Sons, Nigeria Limited.
So the naming matters.
Oh my God. Better be careful with selecting names, right? Yeah. So, that name was a door opener for me. And that continued until I met a guy, the same guy who said to me, babe, why don't you talk to your brothers? Come on, man, your brothers are in this business. So the guy said to me one day, do you know a department called NAPIMS? NAPIMS is an acronym.
Yes.
It stands for National Petroleum Investment Management Services.
National Petroleum Investment Management Services.
That is a subsidiary of the NNPC.
Yes.
These are the guys that deal with the upstream oil and gas in Nigeria.
Well, we're talking about this now. We're talking about real money here.
We're talking
about
real
serious
money
now. We're talking about serious business.
We're talking about mega money.
Yeah.
I said, no, I don't know. He said, okay, I'm going to direct you to that place. You see, one thing I can tell you is once you get started in something, from one, you learn to the other.
Yeah.
From the other, you learn to the other.
Yeah.
Referrals, discussions, and stuff like that. Provided always you keep track and get focused. Just remain there. Remain there.
Yeah.
So this guy said, do you know so-so? I said, no. He gave me a name to talk to when I get there. And I got there and I said to the guy, the guy said, no, okay. We are not in charge of this particular area you want to get into.
Yeah.
He gave me another name. When I got there, we introduced ourselves and we talked about our schools. Lo and behold, the guy, same school, but we didn't meet ourselves. Okay.
The same military school.
The same military school.
Yes.
Quasi military, not quasi military. You know what I'm saying? We bonded immediately.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to give you all the support. I'm going to give you all the support. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you have to? So he gave me like what we call in Nigeria Expo. Expo is a common parlance we use when you are being foretold of something ahead.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I want you to say that in Nigeria.
Expo.
How you say it in Nigeria. In a Nigeria, how a typical Nigeria would say it.
Don't have a typical language for it. But expo, if you understand what the expo, I'm giving you expo. Expo means I'm giving you information that you shouldn't know.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that I can
It
help
has
you.
not come from me, but yes, you use this information.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
don't. You can't go and say, "Oh, I got this expo from." No.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be known.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is coming from some guy who wants to help you, my dear. When I saw the money, when I saw the contract, award $50 million, award $100 million, award $200 million, and I paused a little while. I say, "These guys, can I do this?" I said, "Why not? They don't have two heads. They don't have two heads." So for me, it's another turning point. And the rest is history. And Baywood began to grow from there, made so many, took bold steps, made successes out of them. And when we grew the Baywood Continental, Baywood began to, grow other branches, okay? Because we, as a company, we are focused on facilities. We call it from cradle to grave. From cradle to grave is anything in the oil industry we can construct. From building, from the moment you poured your oil, from your first oil, because we are not drillers. Yeah. The drillers are the guys that will go first, or they have the seismic guys. The seismic guys will go first and get data, do a data acquisition, and from data acquisition, they have guys who will now go and begin to drill. From drill, the moment you get your oil, from there until you export, this is our business.
Wow.
Yes. So
This is Baywood.
This is Baywood
business.
Continental. This is our business.
Yeah.
We design, we build, and we procure everything that has to do from the point you get your oil, preventive. So you can have a facility that will last you for 100 years because you continuously do preventive and planned maintenance.
Yeah.
This is our core area for Baywood.
Yeah.
And then from there, of course, Baywood gave birth to better other companies. We have the aviation company called TAL Aviation. We operated in Nigeria, operated helicopters until pandemic. With pandemic, of course, most airlines and aviators suffered. Yeah. Okay, we have the engineering arm called High Tech. So the High Tech does all the engineering activities, both feed, pre-feed, and detailed engineering. And of course, we have the exploration arm called, then it used to be called Baywood Exploration and Production. But with the turnaround of things, the so-called talk about exit from fossil fuel to clean energy and doing the renewable energy. So we changed from Baywood Exploration and Production, so it doesn't look a bit restrictive, to Baywood Energy Development. So, and of course, energy is still, oil and gas is still part of energy, but we just don't want to make it look restricted that when you see our company, you think we're just doing exploration and production only.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Chris Baywood will be telling us a little bit more about what it's like to be the CEO and the president of the group. Obviously, we're talking about some large amount of money. He said the gallons and the gallons of money. That's what he says it. And we want to know, what does that mean to manage that kind of business, to manage the multinational business at that level, internationally in Nigeria. These guys are not playing games. These are big boys. Stay right there. We'll be right back after this break. Being a youth empowerment person, what changed? How is it that a person of his caliber is beginning to push down here, yet he's supposed to be talking about big things? Stay right there, okay? We're going to bring back, Emperor Chris Baywood. Welcome back to the program. What a fascinating story and journey so far that you've had in your life. And you talked about this. I want to know, what is it like to be the president and the CEO of Baywood Continental, Baywood Group, and all these things going on? How do you manage?
First of all, is determination and purposefulness. I like to use the word purposefulness because you have to be life. I like to use the word purposefulness because you have to be very purposeful in life to succeed.
Yeah.
Another word for it, it's got to be deliberate, to succeed, no matter what. And being deliberate and purposeful means that you got to stay focused and you have to have your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Eye on the ball, always. So I'm one guy that has always had my eye on the ball, and what's that ball? To succeed, make a success, not minding the challenges. Of course, Baywood Continental didn't just get to become Baywood Continental without challenges, or Baywood Group without challenges. We have had enormous challenges that, for the faint-hearted, would have chickened out.
Yeah.
Right? Making money is not for the lily-livered. Making money is it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to have a very strong will to weather the storm, because it comes with a lot of storm.
Yeah.
Right? It's not a walk in the park. If it's a walk in the park, it would have been like the normal proverb would say, if wishes were horses. If
wishes were horses, yes.
Beggars would do what? Would
Yeah.
ride.
Yeah.
So I can recall my very two experiences that, again, transformed Baywood. It couldn't have been without those things. Number one was my first project with Shell. Don't forget, I migrated from NNPC,
Yeah.
right, as a service provider, to now I'm going to work for the IOCs. Different animal.
Different ball game.
Different ball game, man, because the IOCs, they take no prisoner, right? They take no prisoner, man. And in those early days, we were the guinea pigs, of course. In the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, there was no local content. Most countries never were practicing anything local content. It was exclusive of the multinationals. They come there, do their business, and of course, get in, get out, all right? No much of investment. So some of the local practitioners were one of the early callers in that industry. Of course, it comes with a very big price. Always a price you pay. And when you want to pay that price, it's very painful, right? Yeah. So I think one of our first project about 1993 with the IOC, if I'm correct, was about $5 million. Very excited, man. $5 million.
From 50 million to 100,000 to 5 million.
Yes, dollars.
From 50,000.
Dollars.
Yes, dollars to now
millions
to 5 million.
Before,
yes.
You know, we did quite a lot of projects with NNPC there, you know, maybe 30 million, you know, 10 million, but it's not compared to $5 million.
$5 million to $500 million.
$5 million, initial money, initial award, first award from IOC, $5 million in 1993, my brother. It's like David, what do you call it, what do you call this short guy that is a film producer? He said, money stinks, but he loves the smell.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Danny DeVito. Yeah. He said money stinks when it lost its smell. It means you
said money is the only thing that stinks, but he loves the smell. So for me, big money is what gives me a kick. When I hear big money, I'm like, huh? What can I do to make it?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we got a project down the line, we lost the contract.
How did you lose the contract?
Euphoria of a young man getting into a big project and not doing planning very well, in accordance with the expectations of your clients, which now happen to be IOCs. Okay, procedures, processes, quality, standard, specifications, and any little thing can cost you a project. More so, don't forget, there was no local content. So you're on your own. As a matter of fact, the first thing they do when you show up as a local company before these other companies, you say, no, they don't want you. So it's local content that has made it look like, oh, okay, we are in charge. Okay, but it's good for the country. Okay, you know. So we lost the project, but that was another turning point. Several turning points. You know, you have to learn these things.
Yeah.
The turning point is that the IOC said, listen, guys. Well, of course, I went to the regulators of the oil and gas.
To somewhere.
To somewhere.
Yeah.
relatively
more and more
threat.
Yes.
So first option is out of the system. But again, that's when you have strong regulators. They were very firm and said, no, this guy is not going to be out of the system. If you think they have done something and they have not done something right, put them right. Let them do it and do it well. So we're given the option to get restructured. And you know, as a young businessman,
Restructure the contract.
they would.
Okay, restructure the company, not restructure the contract.
Must be a structured company.
Yeah.
Not just one, because they see Baywood then as one-man business. Which is what happens to a lot of us in Africa.
Yeah.
It's just about me, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we don't grow.
Yeah.
If you have to grow.
And that right there is a lesson, is what we're saying to us?
Say again?
Is that right there is a lesson you're trying to share with us?
Big one. So what the point here is, we have to let go from the company. We have to create a structure that separates us, me or you, from the company. So because at that time it was me. What do I mean by that? I was the general manager, I was the managing director, I was the CFO, I was the accountant, I was more or less the admin officer. So the check was in my pocket.
Yeah.
Before that time, okay? So I write check, I approve check, I get cash, I dispense of cash, and blah, blah, blah. That's not the way, so you never get anywhere. And that's how our fathers operated. Because it's just about them, so they never go beyond the limit, okay? If you can't, the only way for you to go from where you are is to bring more brains.
Yes.
If you bring more brains, then it will increase the capacity of what you have, all right? And you have to let go. So, okay, that was done. They suggested, well, they didn't suggest, they said we should identify business process companies.
Yeah.
They will come and audit. We did. We appointed one. They audited Baywood. One thing they said is, first of all, please, sir, Chris Baywood is an individual. One hand. Baywood Contender is a company, right? So you have to place yourself on the right salary and appoint certain positions, created certain positions. That we did, and we began to run. So the company readmitted us back. The IOC readmitted us back by that singular action that we restructured. They came before the readmission. They had to come and assess the work done so far by the company, by the independent company, and they found that yes, we have put in processes in place, we have put structures in place, and they have to see the individuals. It's not just creating the boxes and
filling the boxes without. Yes.
So that we did, and then of course the next is history, and Baywood began to run based on those structures, and every day. We had that's what they call continuous improvement in your process, process improvement, structure improvement. Of course, we grew to become ISO certified, and we grew to eventually from ISO certified, being local ISO certified company. Then it was SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, that certified us. From there, we moved to Bureau Veritas as an international certification body to certify Baywood. And ever since then, we've been running as a very well-run organization with different departments and different people manning it. So I can afford, just like that I've been here now and going to 1 month, the company is running without me. All right, yes, I have my level of approval. When it gets to the point where I have to approve, information is filtered to me. When it's necessary to copy me in any communication, I am copied. Otherwise, people do their business based on work schedules and how the work breakdown structure, we call it, has been assigned to them. So, and they feed in. I have people who report to me, they have people who report to them. It's bottom down and top down, okay? Yeah, so whenever it's necessary, they report to you. Where it's not necessary, okay, so they run their bank, they run the